noticed that whenever I do something alone, or choose to spend time with myself, or choose to, I don't know, watch a TV show, or like go on a self date instead of going out with people, or when I'm alone in public, people look at me with pity. People look at me sometimes even with disgust. Some people look at me when I'm in public settings like I'm missing my other half. Like I'm just here looking for someone, here waiting for someone to come to save me from company of me. But what I also noticed is that when there was a period in my life where I couldn't, you know, spend 1 minute alone, an hour alone, I would always be with someone, or I would watch TV shows, or I constantly have something so I don't have to listen to my own thoughts. And when I would just spend all my time with someone, like for example I would wake up, go out, then like come home, and then go sleep over at someone's house, or someone would come sleep over at my house, and that was never weird for anyone. It was never weird for anyone that I couldn't even go to the store by myself, and I would call up my friend and like, let's go. For example, I needed only to buy like a loaf of bread. That was never weird for anyone. Like to the point where I could not be alone. To the point where I would, even if people are busy, I would be like pretending I'm on a call with someone because I didn't want to be crazy, but also I didn't want to, you know, deal with my feelings, so I could have imaginary phone call with someone. That is a bit sad and pathetic. And what I also noticed is that it's unhealthy. It's so unhealthy. I mean, because of the society, we think that being alone is something bad and like being with someone is so good. But also there are people that are bad for you. There are toxic people out there. There are people that, you know, enjoy hurting you. Not even like in the physical sense, because let's not get into it. It's not a Criminal Minds episode, you know? But yeah, people assume by default that people who are alone, they're sad, they could never be happy. It doesn't matter if you're alone from relationships, romantic relationship or friendship. They're like, everyone who's watching is either had or gonna have a moment in their life when there is no friendship. Like they could go to the friends, toxic ones. They could go to romantic partners that are toxic, that made them feel worse. But I did that a lot of times, especially with friendship. I went back a lot of times just because I couldn't be alone, and I'm just like, you know, I'm gonna see this person anyway, so why not? It was a mistake. But also when I would come home, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna turn on this TV show and I'm gonna watch this, and in a few hours I'm gonna be reunited with people, and my life will be happier. I won't have problems. I won't feel lonely. And for a time it worked because it was excitement of new people in your life. But then I kind of realized that nothing helped, and whenever I was alone I felt a little not how I wanted to feel. Gradually those people left my life, which is, I'm not holding anything against them. That was a great period in my life. But also some of them were quote-unquote toxic ones, the ones that I knew that they weren't good for me, and I couldn't like leave voluntarily, so I'm very happy that they left me gradually. Like I never thought in those moments I would be like crying 2 years ago, like why did they leave me? We were such a good, like it was so fun, you know? But now I'm just like, you know, thank you. Okay, but after what it seems like years, I finally started to enjoy my own company. I started to love myself more than any other human being on this planet except Jesus and God. You know, it's a challenging thing to do, but it's not an impossible thing to do, and I feel so much better, and it's just so amazing. Yeah, I just described literally nothing by those like adjectives. Now I prefer to be alone. I don't mind hanging out with people, with right kind of people, the kind of people that make me feel heard, understood and valued, because otherwise any other conversation with people that don't make me feel valued, understood and heard just would leave me lonely and feeling, you know, bad, which I don't want to do. So I hope that in this video I will help you how to start enjoying and how to be happy alone, how to be happy single, whatever the case is for you, because returning to toxic friendship and returning to toxic partners is, you know, an easy choice. Like it's easy, it feels like a little like woohoo, here we go again, you know. But then after you like, oh, this is why I left. Okay. And when you come back to those like toxic friendships or toxic partners, you feel like you deserve the things that, how they treat you and stuff like that. And it's not true. It's not true. You don't deserve the bad treatment, the being neglected, being misunderstood, being ridiculed and stuff like that. First thing that helped me is learning how to separate my feelings from facts. For example, right after those friends left me, I was just like, okay, I will never find friends. I'm so boring. People don't like me. People like, and I would just like start feeling this overwhelming and hatred towards myself for people leaving me. But also fact, people will leave you. It doesn't really have to do anything with you either. Like yeah, but small part of it, and it's not fact. You're gonna find someone. Like because the last time you thought you're never gonna find someone and you found someone. You overlook this fact that there was, I don't know, 5 years ago you were sitting in your room and you're like, I'll never find someone, no one is gonna, you know, be like she was or like he was, you know. And then 2 years ago you found someone and now you were alone again and you just like, I'm never gonna find someone. Look at the facts. Look at the facts, because facts never lie. They never lie. Facts never lie. And this is the first thing that you have to do. You have to learn how to separate your feelings from facts. Because yeah, we can feel under the weather, we can feel like Bella at Twilight sitting like, but also facts. Like for example, for Bella, how many times did Edward say like, I'm not gonna, you know, we're not a pair, we're not gonna be, you know. The first time he ever saw her, he was like, you know, and she thought, oh my god, you know, she, you know, smelled her armpits in that movie. She thought she smelled, but doesn't matter. I don't know why I just made this reference. Okay, oh, I'm blushing. So basically, yeah, she would be like, why is it a guy like this new guy, why does he like, you know, doesn't like me and stuff like that. And then facts, it was not about her. It was about him, because, you know, he's a vampire. It's not her, it's him, actually, you know. Normal person wouldn't like turn their face and like do this like face like of disgust, because they do not crave blood. If you crave blood, it's time to see a psychiatrist. Better sooner than later. And then for example, the scene where Bella was like sitting there in the chair and there was like camera going around like October, November, December. She felt like crap because he just left. But also, facts, before that, he made her feel kind of the same way and then he came back. Facts. I don't tell you this for you to support your delusions that the person who broke up with you will come back to you. No. I'm just like looking at the facts. In this case, I know how it all ends up and that Edward and Bella are a perfect match and like stuff like that. I'm not saying this to support your delusions about your ex getting back with you. You know, you have to get your life together. This is how to be alone, how to be happy alone, and not how to, you know, get your ex back. We're not. I don't have tarot cards. I'm not gonna tell your fate. Scroll back, scroll forward. Okay, so we gathered. Learn how to separate your feelings from facts. You're beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, handsome, and you know, you don't need those people in your life. If they don't want to be in your life, you know, eat ice cream, watch some sad movie, and get your stuff together, and let's move on. We all have reasons of why we hate being alone, why we think that being alone is something bad, why we don't like being alone. It's most of those reasons, all of those reasons are put in us by society, by our parents mostly, which is basically sad, but oh well. But you have to find this reason, like, why do you hate being alone? Why do you not like being alone? Why does being alone makes you feel, you know, the way it makes you feel? And then find a solution. I cannot tell you, like, your solution is gonna be this, because I don't know your reason. And yeah, you have to figure out. For me, it was that I was afraid of what people thought of me, and well, I just got a little more self-confident, I'd say. And I just don't care what people think of me anymore when I'm alone, or when I'm like, you know, on a self date, or like whatever, you know. I don't care what they think. I'm more self-confident. So your reasons and solutions are gonna be different from mine. But let's move on. Become the person who validates you. Be the person who validates you. Be the person who praises you, who supports you, because we often rely on other people to, you know, validate us, support us, to, you know, do all these things for us. And that is the reason why we crave like being constantly with someone, because we think that they will make us feel better about ourselves. But most of the times those people are crappy at it, you know, and those people hadn't figured out how to make themselves feel good about themselves. So they can't really help you to make you feel good about yourself if they haven't figured out that. So whenever something goes the way you want it to go, just take a moment to say, congratulations, you've done well, you worked hard. And if it didn't work out, you're just like, oh well, you know, we put work into it, but we can't really do anything. Like, for example, with me, I love the comments that people put, and like most of them were joyful and amazing and like supportive, and I love that. But I also don't, like, you know, build my confidence and my self-worth around those comments. I validate myself, and I love those. I love people. I love you all that, like, you know, support me and tell me all this like amazing comments. But I also, whenever I post something and it doesn't go well, I'm just, oh well, that didn't go well, that's okay. And whenever something does go well, I'm just like, good for you. For you. You deserved it. You deserved it. I don't wait for anyone to just, you know, I mean, it's so nice when there are other people to validate you, but oftentimes they're not. And when I was starting this, there was no one to validate me. And I was just like, okay, you put the best you could in this video, which is like amazing. And the result doesn't really come from you. It comes from algorithm, from things you don't control. So just relax. You put your best into it. You're learning everything good. And I just validate myself. And my mom asked me like a few days ago, she said, why don't you like tell me what is like, I told her some of the amazing comments you guys wrote, and she's like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm just like, I don't really need you to praise me, you know, because also when you rely on people praising you, you also rely on their, like, whenever they say something bad about you, you just like, okay, there's something bad with me, like there's something wrong with me, there's something bad with me. Yeah. And when, for example, someone would leave a comment like, oh my god, this video is so cute, and then the next person is gonna leave a video like, oh my god, you're so stupid, you tell about nothing, like you talk about nothing, it's so stupid. And I'm like, okay, and I just cry in my bed and never return to this YouTube channel ever again. No, it's not gonna be like that. I might cry, but like, I'm not gonna show it to anyone, because whatever you say about me in comments, whatever anyone says about you, it's reflection of them, not you. For example, look at me from this, I don't want to stand up, look at me from this like perspective. Do you see my most insecurity? Like, can you see my insecurity? Also, I have this thing written for another video, but like, whatever. Can you see that? I don't want to stand up, but like, from this angle, can you see, like, from this way to bottom, can you see my biggest insecurity? And for example, 100 people watched this video, right? And 100 people picked different parts of my body, different parts of my face, different parts of everything. And like, it doesn't mean that I'm insecure about all those things. It means that everyone has their own perception. And it most likely means that that person is insecure about that thing that they pick. What you have to understand is that other people's opinions is their own opinions. They're entitled to their own opinions. They're just their view of the world. And second time is that they're projecting. Like, there are two ways. Is their opinion, they just see the world that way, or they're just projecting. So what you also have to get, kind of, it's a new mindset. If you're gonna keep thinking that being alone is weird, people who are alone are weird, people who go like to restaurants alone, they are weird, weirdos, you're never gonna, you know, escape this. You always will be unhappy alone, because you will have this old mindset that it's weird, it's bad, it's not like, oh, stop, I don't want to do that, you know. You have to get a new mindset. You have to think that, yes, you know, basically just watch this video and it will help you to get a new mindset. And stop thinking of people who are alone like they are weird, because whenever you will be alone, you will think that other people will think that you are weird just because you think that you're weird. So yeah, you can see how it turns out. Also, stop glorifying your past. I know it's sometimes very tempting to like look back at your photos and like, oh my god, I was so happy in this relationship 2 years ago. He was so lovely in this video. He was so like, we left after this moment for like 10 minutes, you know. Okay, past is in the past. Stop glorifying it. Or whenever you like, you know, full in work and you like look at the like photos or like memories, remember something, and you're just like, oh my god, I remember that summer when we were like, you know, always in ocean, always swimming, always like barbecuing. It was so nice. Yeah, it was in the past. And when we glorify the past and the person in the past, it's a spiraling. It's nothing good, because that person doesn't exist anymore. People change. People change faster than you can comprehend. You're not the person you were a year ago, neither am I. And that person doesn't exist. The person you glorifying, the person you are trying to, you know, put on pedestal, they do not work. So really, you should stop glorifying your past. Yeah, I'm not saying like, you know, don't remember about it, just like close your eyes on it, but just don't glorify it. Don't put those people on pedestal, because they don't exist. They existed in that moment, now it's gone. Bye bye. Next one is figure out what your standards are, because the reason why people are so excited when anyone will give them attention is because they, you know, don't have standards. So anyone would like look at them, wink at them, and they like, okay, sure. So that's why you have to have standards. Just sit down and write down your standard list. It could be something like that.
Finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. Finance, trust fund, 6'5".
Not this. I don't know how it's all over the world now. I don't know how it got here. Just never mind. Just write down things that are standard for you. For example, for me is 6'5", trust fund. No. Just a standard list. Like, what is something you will not negotiate? Like, for example, you don't like people drinking. Write down like, I want him not to drink. I want her not to drink. If you, I don't know, a Christian, then write down like, gave his life to Jesus, you know, because if you a Christian, you can't really, you know, be, I mean, you can be delusional enough to think that you can change someone into your religion or like religion overall, but like, don't be that delulu. And as Bible said, you and your partner have to be both equally yoked. So, you know, put there like a man of Lord, a man of God, you know, gave his life to Jesus, talks about Jesus on the first date, you know, doesn't matter, like something like that. I cannot really give you a standard list, like what should be in your standard list, because everyone is different. But jokes aside, really just, you know, take some time and just sit down and write down standards for friendship and for relationship, because it's equally important for friendship and for relationships. But it also doesn't mean that what you will write down there, it's gonna be 100% description of your friend or your partner, because no one is 100% perfect. For example, you and your future partner can both be early birds, have same hobbies, but you have different ways to unwind. He likes to watch football, for example. You like to, I don't know, read. You cannot force one another. And like, no one can give you like 100% of anything. Like, you can have this like categories of like, okay, they meet my physical needs, quote unquote. Why did I become so uncomfortable after saying that? Like, physical needs, emotional needs, and like stuff like that, but they do not read the books I read, so we can't really talk about books. It's an important part of my life. Doesn't mean that that person is awful. Doesn't mean that you like cross off gym off the list. Like gym, G-A-M, not G-Y-M. A name, gym. Let's cross him off, because he doesn't like book. He doesn't like talk about books. You know, my romantic books. Why doesn't he like that? Because everyone has their own interests, you know. And for example, in friendship, it's the same way. Like, you have friends that you can talk about books, that you can like do hobbies with, that you can like travel. But there are some things that you can only like, your partner can give you, like understanding, support, the way that they do, that your friends can. For example, one friend can be great at listening. Another friend can be like great at supporting. Another friend can be like great at like traveling, making you laugh and stuff like that, you know? And they're all equally important because you're not gonna find a friend who just meets 100% of everything. And newsflash, you're not, you know, fulfilling 100% of something for someone else. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just truth. And yeah. And just because we think that we can find someone who 100% meets our needs, who's like 6'5", blue eyes, you know, has that amount of money or works that job. And so yeah, when you think that there is a person on this planet that will meet 100% of your things, you just, you know, go on dating websites and like do all of that like dating and stuff, and you're just like, okay, I'm closer to my 100%. No, of course, you're not being a bad person for being selective of who you have in your life. But yeah, you don't have to feel bad for choosing people in your life. You don't have to feel bad for like, you know, not connecting with someone on a first date. You don't have to feel bad for like stop talking to that person just because something felt off. You are not being a bad person for being selective of who you have in your life. Got it? Got it. Also, let me read you this. When you are obsessing over someone, it's never a reflection of how good they are. It's always a reflection of how bad your relationship has become with yourself. When you are truly in a space of love, self-love, no one can ever have that much power over you. So instead of putting your focus on why they aren't giving you attention, put it towards asking yourself why you are not giving yourself enough. I don't know, it's from some book, but I don't know what book it is. I don't know. I'm sorry. Also, accept the fact that you are all alone in this world, and not trying to sound as depressing as I just did, but like, you have to know yourself. You have to, you know, get to know yourself the same way you get to know other people, the same way you keep a connection with other people, constantly asking yourself, how are you? What is going on in your life? Like, I know it's stupid because we think like, oh, we know everything because it's our life, you know, but you don't, do you really? Like, there's so many journaling prompts and Pinterest to dig deeper into yourself and to find out amazing things about yourself, because you're the person you stuck with for the rest of your life. People are gonna come and go, and you have to be okay with being with yourself. Either they leave voluntarily or not. So here's what I have for you for today, and thank you for watching this video. I'm truly thankful that you're watching this video, and I hope you will become happy alone and single and just happy overall. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Love you. Bye. I really do love you.